Okay, here we go. So this is, excuse me while I just do a little adjustment. Oops. Just trying to get this set up right for you. Don't want you to get any glare from my mirror, which is right behind where I'm filming. Okay, so this is our Halloween image. So I'm just going to move on to the cloak here. So we've just done the hat. If you're watching this and you're thinking, how have we got to here? This is number 5 in this series of videos. I just wanted to be able to show you the entire image from start to finish. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to move on to the greys. So greys are awesome in graphite. And basically we have pink greys, which are these colours here, and we also have green greys, and you would not believe, you know, that they make such a difference. And the reason I've chosen the pink greys is because we're using the purple hues. I could easily have chosen the green as well, because I'm going to colour her trousers green, so we'll get a bit of green going on in the image, obviously with it being Halloween. But I just thought that the pink greys were going to work perfectly with the purple tones in the hair and in the hat. And, you know, they should work really, really well. So basically here, excuse the cat because he's playing up thunderpaws on the loose. I've got 4 greys here. Sorry, I've got 5. 9307 there. So we go from 9303, 304, 305, 306, 9307. Okay, so we've got 5 tones here to work with. I'm just going to put these here. So to start off with, to save a little bit of time, I've coloured in her cloak with 9303. So again, I'm going to work light to dark, and I'm just going to start adding some shade in here. So I've gone to 9304, and I'm just working kind of around. Let me move that a little bit further away. I think it's getting a little bit caught in the glare of my light. And I'm just going to actually start adding some shade here. So right up underneath her hair. So I'm going to kind of go under here. Now, as I've said before, you can work dark to light or light to dark. It's entirely up to you. I think, you know, just work with whatever method you've used in the past and what you're comfortable with. And if you find that you can't get on with something, you know, try working a different way with it. Usually it's not the you know, especially in this case, because this is an absolute premium end product. You know, I have to say that I mean, we haven't even talked about the pricing and the value of these markers, but basically these are priced at £2.50 a pen. And these actually have up to about 20% more ink in the barrel than most other brands of alcohol marker out there. So when you actually consider the value that you're getting in that, it's absolutely phenomenal. And now we actually have the interchangeable nibs, is just fantastic. So they're coming out at the end of September. They'll be in the next couple of weeks. And basically you just buy little packs of nibs and you can interchange them. So you don't need to actually buy, if you're a lover of a brush pen and you've got used to working with a brush nib, which I have to say I personally prefer, mainly because I find if you use a brush tip, the brush actually does a lot of the work for you. So here where I'm kind of using my fine tip, I'm getting lots of little lines. The brush actually, because it's a brush and it has all the fine bristles, or in theory it has the fine, but it's the action of the brush. I'm not explaining that very well. The action of the brush is you're moving it backwards and forwards, basically manipulates the ink and helps it to blend better. So that was 9304. I'm now going to actually use 9305 and I'm building the colour up. So I'm going to go here under her collar, and this is going to go quite dark in this colour. So I'm just going to kind of, each time I'm adding colour, because I'm layering the colour here. I mean, you don't really need to layer as such, but it's just the way that I'm working this. I kind of went a bit the wrong, not the wrong way around, but I kind of chose a different way of colouring tonight. I kind of do a bit of both, and it depends what I'm colouring and how my mood is. And as I've said to you a million times, there's no right or wrong. Just find what works for you and what you're comfortable doing. So I think I want a bit more tone on this, a bit more shade. It's all about light and shade, and that's what creates drama. So where we've got that strand of hair there, we're going to pull that round, and also under here I'm going to actually pull some extra. In fact, I'm going to go quite dark up here because it is a black cloak rather. So, you know, if you're wanting to colour black, obviously you're always going to do that with a grey, because it adds shade, because otherwise you can't particularly shade with a black, because black is black. Although again, in graphite, because we like to be a bit different, black isn't black, because we actually have a special black. And I was quite excited to see special black because, sorry, I'm getting a bit geeky now, being involved sort of from the print industry in my previous careers, we had a colour called special black, and basically what that is it's black, but it's a really rich, dense black, and it's used usually in very high-end products. So where say for instance, there's a very famous box of chocolates out there called Black Magic. So when you're working with the packaging on that, because you actually have a black box, and you know, you have a lot of black that's working within that, you would actually use a special black, and it saves you doing 2 coats of black. Not many people know that, but it is true. So I'm working on to 9306 now, so we're getting darker and darker, and I'm not worrying too much about blending here because we'll go back and do that in a second. But I'm just making sure that I'm getting right up. I want to get really dark in here. And actually, I don't really need to go too far with that, because we'll put some really dark touches in. I'm kind of working a bit odd today because I keep forgetting to take my glasses off. I go a bit buzz-eyed when I wear my glasses for close-up work, and I forget. So my colouring here isn't the best in the world, I'll be quite honest with you, but I'm not worried because we can go back and tidy up. I just want to actually get the denseness of the colour actually on the page. So it's all about creating shade. Light and shade is your best friend, and that's all that's really important. Okay, so it probably looks okay on the camera, but it isn't in real life. It's actually pretty shoddy. But I'm just going to go now with my darkest grey. And this is really why I say you don't need to actually layer the colour, because these pens are so opaque that actually, because I've gone dark to light to dark here on such a large block area of colour, really what I've done is I've wasted quite a bit of ink. And I really would say to you, you know, consider whether or not you need to do that, because I really should have gone the other way, I think, with this image. But, you know, you'll get bored of me hearing me say it, but there is no right or wrong. And, you know, you learn and you change what you do all the time. You find better ways of doing things, and that's what it's all about, I think. You know, just like we colour the wrong bit of hair, and then the next time we don't, we've learned our lesson, hopefully. So I'm just going to add some extra dimension up there. Okay, so she's starting to look pretty cool. So that's 9307. So that's the darkest of my pink greys. Now I'm going to go to 9905, and this is actually my special black, and this is where it's really going to pop. So if I actually use this right in here. Now this might be, because I use my, sorry, I've got my special black is actually running out because I use it so much. But still, I might just be able to finish that bit off. But can you see how rich that actually is? You probably can't, but really rich right in the background there. So just gonna, have I got another one? 9905, yes, excuse me while I lean across. Okay, so I can't live without my special black. So it's fantastic for getting right into these darkest, richest areas that you want to colour. So right in the back here, underneath her collar, oops, just gone over the line, but never mind. And then right down these creases. And I'm just going to swizz that around so I can see what I'm doing. I'm kind of trying, I'm sort of working upside down a little bit, so it's not helping me. So fantastic for creating really, really deep dark shade in those blacks. So if you don't have special black and you're thinking, why do I need two blacks? Now you know why, and you really do need both of those blacks, in my opinion anyway. I certainly can't live without that special. Okay. So I hope I'm not boring you too much. It kind of is literally like watching paint dry, isn't it? But anyway, so now I'm going to go back down my colour wheel, and actually I'm going to go back to my lightest colours. I'm going to start blending this in because this is actually looking pretty patchy and rough because I only did it very quickly at the beginning. And this is what's really awesome with your graphic markers. Just check I'm using the right colour. Yeah, so I've gone right back to my first shade of pink grey, which is 9303. And because we can move the colour, and I'm going to show you a really cool technique. Basically, you will use your pens to blend. So I know that sounds stupid because you're kind of thinking, well, Nikki, we blend anyway. But wherever you've got bits that aren't blended very well, you know, you just basically manipulate your pen. And I find that if you work in little circles, it'll actually help to actually blend this. So where this was really, really rough before, can I just show you the difference maybe? Can you see here, look, this is really rough. I've got all my brush marks here. And then look over here, and that's just by blending with that one colour. Now, where this is different, and this is quite important, here, because I've gone from 9303 at this edge, and then this is really dark, and it's still quite dark in this centre, because these are so opaque and they move each other, the inks move each other, they don't lie on top of each other particularly well. They actually move each other out of the way and blend into each other. So because I've now put a light colour on top of a dark colour, I start to get what I call this dappling effect. It's kind of like a bit of a mottled effect. And that's fine if you're kind of wanting to sort of get that. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I actually want a much smoother blend than that. So I'm actually going to go back. I'm kind of blending halfway, if you like, with this colour. And then I'm going to go back with a slightly darker colour and actually blend into the middle a bit more as well. And I'm going outside the edges a little bit because I am rushing a bit, to be honest. I would take my time a bit more. But, you know, YouTube, 10 minutes, and that's kind of how much they let you film, really. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to go up to 9304, which is the next colour up. And I need to just add a little bit more of that in the centre. And again, you know, like most other alcohol markers, these actually dry a bit lighter. So just remember that. You know, because at the moment these are going on and they're looking quite dark in that centre. But actually it's going to dry out quite a bit lighter. So I'm just adding some extras. I've kind of like lost my centre tone if that makes sense. And that means that I actually will get less contrast between the outer edge and the middle. So it'll kind of, I'll end up with a bit of a line if I don't blend that in nicely. So I'm just going back with 9303 again. And that will now give me a much nicer blend. In fact, can you see that? Look how nice that is here. Really nice and smooth and soft. But over here, I've still got just kind of like I'm missing a little bit in the centre over here. So just add a bit more. This is a really in-depth tutorial for you. I don't think I've ever been this in-depth, but you know, by doing 5 or 6 different videos, it's enabling me to do this. Because normally we just run out of time. And you know, watch out for the official graphic DVD, which will be coming your way soon, with, I have to say, yours truly. So again, I'm just using that 9303, and I hope you're liking these pens. I hope these are, you know, I hope I'm actually doing them justice and showing you how fantastic they actually are and the vibrancy. And I haven't really, you know, talked about it too much because I'm hoping that you can actually see it for yourself. But it's the vibrancy of tone that you actually get, and it just absolutely blows me away. It really does. So on here, just on the little belt thing on her hat, again 9303 on there, and then I'm gonna blend that in with 9304 and just go a little bit darker each time. I might skip 9305. You can skip colours if you want to, so don't feel you've got to have all of the colours straight away, although, you know, as crafters we're so addicted, we kind of need it, don't we? And then I'm going to go right up to 9307 around the back here. So this is going to add a really nice depth. And then I want my special black again, and I'm just going to finish that. So special black just right round here, and I'm just flicking. So I haven't got my brush nibs in, and then I'm using the special black right in the back of the brim of the hat. So I'm kind of going to darken this right up. So this is adding shade, because this is if you remember, I actually coloured this with granite, which is one of those that new colour that's coming out in September, and it's a fantastic colour. It's what I call a chameleon colour, because it's going to change depending on what colour you put it with. So I'm just going to add a little bit. Now where her hat is here, again, I'm going to add that special black, and because it's very dense, I can use that to shade. So I can even go right over the top of something as dark as this purple and actually add a little bit more depth. And then what I'm going to do is I want to take that special black, and inside of her cloak here is going to be really, really dark. So again, I coloured that with the granite earlier, and I'm going to take the special right inside. So I've got pleats on here and right down the back of her cloak, which is right on the inside. Got a little spider there, don't cover him up. And then kind of like right between her legs there. And that centre bit there I actually coloured with, I think it was 9307. So I'm just going to actually blend that back in with that, because it does need to be really nice and dark in there. And I might actually come back and do another coat on that when it's dried. We'll see how it gets on. It should be okay as it is. Okay. Now on her cloak, she's got around her neck here, she has a little kind of collar, and I want to just darken that up and add some shade there, so it gives a bit of depth in there. And also here in the lilac band, I just want to kind of add some shade in here as well, just to kind of add a little bit of depth. Again, not too much, we don't want to recolour it, but just to kind of tone it in a little bit. And I'm going back with, this was the lightest colour, which is 6120. I hope you're going to actually have a go at this image. You can download it from polkadoodles.co.uk. I don't know how much they are. They're quite cheap, just cheap to download. Instant download. You can pay through PayPal. But it'll be quite a cool image to actually get, and then to actually use to follow the tutorial if you feel you need to. Now, the fantastic thing about graphite is because they are opaque, as I keep going on, and because the inks move, as I keep telling you, what that means is when you go outside of the lines and make a bit of a boo-boo, basically you can push that colour back in again. So if you find, you know, I quite often find that I kind of do stuff and then you come back 10 minutes later and it looks entirely different because the markers have actually dried properly. So, you know, go back and just kind of use it to move around. But anyway, this is the end of this video, and what I'll do is I will finish this image. So there you go, that's where we're at now. I will finish this and then I'll come back and I'll actually show you the very final image where I'm just basically going to add some green onto her trousers and everything, but I don't want to bore you too much with that. So I'll come back and show you a really cool, hopefully cool, final image. Okay, see you in a bit.